Should The Walking Dead one day do an animated series similar to Robert Kirkman's Invincible comic book / show? Now, I think this is something that The Walking Dead should do and look at. I think it'd be pretty cool if The Walking Dead did a exact comic adaptation from the comic book to an animated show. That way you actually get to see the comic book really come to life. And I know the live action show does that to an extent, but obviously a lot of things have changed throughout the run of the show compared to the comic book, and it'd be cool to see the exact comic book storylines play out through an animated show. Now, unfortunately, there's some characters that aren't in the comic book, such as like Daryl, and there's a few other ones too, but Daryl is the most noteworthy one. Merle also another one that wouldn't be in the comic / animated show, but at the same time, I think it'd still be really cool just to see an animated Walking Dead show that is showing the comic story, like exactly the comic story. And it would be even cooler if you could get the live action counterparts to voice the animated characters. I think a lot of them would probably do it, because a lot of the Walking Dead cast actually cameoed in the show Invincible, which is another animated show on Amazon. It's Robert Kirkman's comic book too. So it'd be really cool to get, say, you have Maggie, have Lauren Cohen voice, you have Morgan get Lenny James, you have Glenn get Stephen Yeun, like all those type of characters to get them in the show. Obviously Andrew Lincoln be Rick, that would just be super cool. And unfortunately Norman Reedus wouldn't be able to do Daryl, but maybe he can do another voice for another comic character, still get him in there somehow. I think it'd be a really cool thing. And obviously you make the Walking Dead comic adaptation in animated form super bloody, super gory, just like the comics were, and just like the show Invincible. You can get away with a lot of stuff, say the F word, get super gory, get super graphic, and I think it would honestly be a huge hit, because a lot of people know the Walking Dead story at this point. They've watched the show, read some of the comics, but I would say the majority of people probably haven't finished the comics fully, and they would like to check it out in TV form through animation. Or if you're just a huge Walking Dead fan like I am, who's watched all the show, read all the comics, you just want to see more Walking Dead, and it would just be awesome to see a true comic adaptation put on screen through animation, and it would look like the comic book, but obviously it'd be animated and just be really cool. Now, I don't know why no one else has really talked about this. I feel again like this would be a pretty cool thing for AMC to do, say on AMC Plus, or another company buys the Walking Dead animated show, because I think the Walking Dead comic book rights are different than the Walking Dead comic book show rights, where the Walking Dead on TV, it is very heavily tied to AMC because AMC owns it. That's why it's like AMC's The Walking Dead. Where with the comic stuff, I think it's still truly owned by Robert Kirkman, and it'd be interesting to see if he wanted to do something like he did with his comic book Invincible. Say Amazon picks up the Walking Dead animated show and runs it for a few seasons. Like, it would be really cool, even if AMC bought it out, put it on AMC Plus or something, but make sure to make it as graphic as Invincible, make it a true rated mature adult show, just like Invincible is, and just like the Walking Dead comic book was. And it'd be really cool to see. And like I said earlier, get all the actors and actresses who want to come back to reprise their roles, do their voices, be really cool. This would be one way to kind of get back in Laurie Holden's graces, who she played Andrea on the show. She would pretty much have a job for as long as the animated show ran, which would be really cool to kind of, like I said, get her back in the good graces of The Walking Dead, because how they really mistreated that character on the show, because in the comic book, she had a lot more to do. That's all, I'll leave it at that. I won't spoil much, but it would just be really cool. I think it'd be a really fun idea. Like I said, I've never seen anyone really talk about this, floated out there, but I think they'd be missing an opportunity to not do this at least one day. Maybe when The Walking Dead ends and goes away for a while, this would be something really cool to do, and that way you get The Walking Dead back out in the public's eye, kind of revamp it, revive it, and keep The Walking Dead name out there, but just in a new form. But it's also a familiar form if you're a comic Walking Dead fan, because it's pretty much going to look like the comic, but obviously it's animated, and then you get to see a true comic adaptation come to your screen through animation. And I think it'd just be awesome. I think it'd be really cool. Cross my fingers that it will happen one day. I know this is a really short video, but there's not really much more to say on it, because I pretty much just want it to be a straight comic book adaptation. Would be really cool to bring back all of the characters from the live action show to voice the characters in the animated one, and keep the animation very similar to the comic book, make it gory, make it mature adult, and I think you got a real successful show on your hands through animation. I think it would be awesome, and I think it'd sell well, and I think a lot of people would be interested in it. But maybe I'm crazy. Maybe no one would really want to watch this, and I'm kind of out there on an island by myself. But let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section below. And while you're down there, if you can like the video, video and subscribe to the channel. That'd be greatly appreciated. Until next time, guys, everyone have a great day. Thanks for watching.